Hello and welcome. I am the Restless Kaiser.
And I'm Johnny B.
I'm James Workshop.
And I'm Harry from Fog of War.
But together we are
Modern Advantage.
Hey. We remain in two minds about whether we should do that because it just doesn't sync up. But every time we think bad, that's kind of our motif, right? We're not doing it very well.
We've got to do it because it's a road.
Well, I forgot to do the thumbs up, so there you
Thumbs
go.
up as well, yeah.
We all did.
So this is Harry. Harry from Fog of War. He does all kinds of things. But first of all, let's just go a quick round the table and see what everybody's doing today. Me, I'm building an Mi-24 for my Team Yankee East German.
Ooh. I am going to be potentially putting some decals on a whole bunch of Kaiser Shermans and stuff for the US Armoured. And that's it.
Cool. I'm right near the end of finishing that sniper team that I've been working on for the last 2 weeks. I do manage to finish that today because they're basically painted. It's just basing now. I'm going to move on to finishing off some topical Su-76s.
Nice.
And I'm working on some Soviet infantry. So today I've got some SMG teams and some ZIS-3 guns that I'll be working on.
Oh, my.
The ZIS-3 divisional guns. Already a million comments, chaps. So a mini warm-up here in advance. All right, buddy. Hope things are all right over there in America. And finish that bloody Kirk model. Anyway.
Kirk?
Yes, Taylor. Anyone a fan of the game Pulp Alley? They're very close to 1K subs. If not subscribed to their channel, please do so they can do community posts. All right, so that's about a YouTube milestone, isn't it? Right. Okie dokie. Miniature Wargaming Warriors. Can't make it tonight. Watch tomorrow. Have a good stream. Cool. Ken, we got you booked in to come on the stream. We're looking forward to it, mate.
Excellent.
Yes, Taylor. We can take a algorithm. Oh, I see. Yeah. About time. Good. Brush and Quill. Good evening, mate. Good evening. There's Nick from Team Clueless Games. More mini while I munch on a chicken fajita.
Nice.
Bob Edwards, good morning, chaps. Whereabouts in the world are you, buddy? If it's the morning, it's very early in the morning for you Australians, isn't it, Harry?
Yes, it's the sun's come up. It's just gone 6 o'clock in the morning here.
I mean, you were in your pajamas 10 minutes ago, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Is Johnny B cold or reprising the role of Obi-Wan Kenobi? I think Johnny B takes every illness as an opportunity for that. Yeah.
John. Yeah. No, I'm chilly. So I've just had my COVID-19 vaccination first dose. I'm 9 hours in, and I'm freezing me bits off. And
did you catch the when they laid you face down on that steel table and stuck it in?
Yeah, I thought it was 1 injection, but they gave me 8 right up the thingy.
The central corridor.
Yes, that one.
Evening, Duncan. Oh, there's Rosie, Johnny B's better half. Hello, Rosie.
Yay.
Boots on the Table with Dom. Evening, peeps. If you don't know Boots on the Table with Dom's channel, he does great kind of match battle reports as well as painting videos, lots of historical stuff. Quite into some Lardy games, among other things.
Right.
He's a Kiwi, mate. So we English like to think that they're next door to you, Harry. That's basically true, right? New Zealand is like...
yeah, basically. As long as you consider something like Moscow next door, that's about the same distance.
Yeah,
but we love them. There's plenty of Kiwis here.
It's just a short dance down from Old Zealand, is my understanding.
YouTube notification stitched me up. You started before it told me, mate. Rich John, good evening, buddy.
Anything yet?
Oh, Rosie. Johnny B is definitely Obi-Wan. And back with Brush and Quill. Been enjoying Harry's Soviet vlogs. So, while there's a pause in the comments and some space, Harry, why don't you tell them a little bit about your channel? What what I like to say, well, who is your daddy and what does he do? Although John might do a better.
Who is your daddy? What does he do?
So, if anybody hasn't seen my channel, Fog of War is basically devoted to Flames of War and Team Yankee, although I cover Fate of a Nation and NAM, the Vietnam game. it's all basically the same rule set from Battlefront in New Zealand, 15 mil, World War II and modern. So awesome. That's sort of what Fog of War is about. It's mainly product reviews, but I occasionally do other things. I'm about to play my first tournament in 3 years for Flames of War. So it's actually James's fault that I'm doing this.
I'm very glad to hear that.
I saw your video on the channel.
Around?
Yeah, he was repainting. Was it an SU-100?
From
yeah, that was our little video. Yeah,
and basically did the white winter camo, and I was thinking, I could do that. I normally play British.
Oh,
yeah. Spread.
So I normally play British, and I got tired of that. So I thought, I could make Soviets out of. The list is being made out of stuff that I've reviewed in the past. So things I've bought, had a box of, built one, and never done anything else with it. So a lot of that is rummaging through all my old stuff and picking out. Oh yeah, I could put that into a list somewhere. And strangely enough, it's come together into a legal list.
Wow. A cohesive force.
Are you hearing this, John? You can rummage through your old stuff and put things into a new list.
I like it. I like it when we sit down and we try and do lists, and your hope is that I have some input. When all I really do is just agree. You're like, so do you want some Shermans? I'm like, yeah, cool. I'll have some Shermans, and that's what happens. I don't care. I want to roll dice. I'm dying horribly.
Those Americans, isn't it? You sat there, moved all the models around, and lined up the turrets neat, and put them into platoons. And then thought, I could put a couple of decals on these. Like, you're supposed to be building a list, John.
We've already made the list. I've got the list in front of me.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, Harry, if you, again, to sort of, people inclined towards being modest in moments like this, Harry does really good reviews of these kits. And he's not just like opening up and saying, oh, this is the sprue look. It's got a spigot and a doofer and a window. He does talk about, there's also a little bit of history in his reviews, and he just usually has built the model beforehand. So you talk about some of the pitfalls involved in there and some of the deficiencies in the model. I'm thinking specifically of the M3. Is it the M3 Bradley kit that Flames of War do?
Where the one that
the side arm covers the window.
The kit parts are wrong. Yeah. They have actually fixed that. Apparently, in their later kits now, Battlefront have a new sprue for that has the proper cut downs on the side, so that the poor driver can actually see out.
Right.
It's just finding that stuff and pointing that out. The history is that's always been my bag, and I do like to hear my own voice. So there's always a lot of history, and
you're in the right area. Yeah. All right. So and largely we got involved with started talking to Harry because I realized that we don't want to be reviewing individual kits. It's also true you don't, although it's 4 Flames of War on Team Yankee, you have dabbled a bit of looking at Battle Group and other things, haven't you? I think, and you don't just buy Battlefront's kits; you do buy kits from Zvezda and other companies.
I love Zvezda's kits. If anybody hasn't seen those, they do. As well as standard modelling kits, they had their own war game called Art of Tactic, which I don't think anybody in the known universe has ever played. But they made a 1/100 scale series of tanks and some planes, and they're great fun to review. And they've done some very odd subjects that other people haven't touched. So I love Zvezda stuff. My most popular recent video was about looking at different aircraft kits you can use. So kits from Revell and Zvezda and things like that that are the right size for wargaming.
Yeah, I mean, John, those Zvezda kits, the only one I think you've had is the Panzer II. Remember that?
That was an awesome little kit. Yeah, really cute
kit.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. I've got some SU-152s and some T-60s from them, and I just love them. The T-60s are awesome little tanks. They're really nice in comparison to the resin ones. They're terrible, the resin ones.
They're wargame kits, aren't they? They're not difficult to put together. They're in 15 pieces, not 50.
More like 5.
The lowest parts count I've seen was 6.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're very simple to put together. They're also snap fit, so you don't actually need to glue them if you don't want to.
No.
But they do some fantastic little plastic kits like the Panzer 38T. They do one of those, so I have a little platoon of that for early war, made out as Vesco.
Nice. So the comments, is James in a Christmas jumper from Brush and Quill?
No, I'm in a year-round jumper with a Christmas theme.
So envious the tournament games are happening at the bottom side of the world. Yeah,
it's because they're bloody sensible.
Because they're sensible. Or they don't let other people into their country. Yep, indeed.
Yeah, we did close the borders pretty hard. So, yeah, we can have tournaments here. Our states have all just about opened up again. We were all closed down into individual states for a while. So it was only gaming within your individual state. But Brisbane's been very active. So, yeah, there's still things going on here, which is nice.
Cool. Color scheme, I'm doing the hand. It's for my East German, so I'm using that like science fiction made up color scheme that Battlefront pushed. It's like a is it black and sky blue mottled patching? I think they reckon that it was in use somewhere in the East German army, but it looks really distinctive.
Yeah, the East Germans do a really beautiful light sky grey and black over green. Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
I've lost to tanks painted that colour several times.
You get a lot of T-55.
So many of them.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm doing like I've got one painted, and if I get a moment, I'll fetch it down, and you can look at my backside while I reach for the box up there. Includes 40k. It's Clueless Mike. Hoping to have him on the and Mini Warmer received a Hidden Beach starter from Toilet Wardrobe and sub to Fog of War. Gonna check his vids and learn. Skill up, mate. Skill up.
Thank you. Always good to see a subscriber.
Yeah, Mini Warmer is interesting. He's been YouTubing for quite a long time, but he was a scale modeler, and he's got sucked into the wargaming thing, and now he seems to be buying like 2 new games a week. Yeah, some unbox a Mountain of Zombicide a couple of weeks ago, so forth. But you still get, the kind of the odd train or something in amongst his videos, because he's not strictly speaking a wargamer; he's a model maker. And he's been doing some great stuff with Trash Terrain, so check him out. Mini Warmer.
Well, I came to this through modelling as well. So I'd been a wargamer years and years ago, but got back into it, bought myself a couple of 1/100 scale kits, some Plastic Soldier Company to begin with, and got back into wargaming from there.
Very nice, yeah. Plastic Soldier Company. So we had the 8-wheeled armored cars that you painted up, John. They were from Plastic Soldier Company.
They weren't bad either. I didn't make them though, did I?
No, I think I maybe built those.
Do you remember how they were to build? Were they all right?
They were all right. If there was a problem with them, it was the fenders, because they were a single piece to cover all 8 wheels on the full length of the vehicle, and the plastic was a bit soft. So it was one of these moments where you hold the plastic in place until the glue's set hard, otherwise they'd move a bit. The rest of the kit was together very well. It just didn't quite fit perfectly. You had to hold it. Good evening, Elston.
Plastic Soldier Company stuff.
Yeah?
I love Plastic Soldier Company stuff, but each kit always has one flaw. There's one thing about them that doesn't quite work. There's one thing that was never quite caught in quality control. I love them. I've, in fact, for my Russian list, I've got some IS-2s from the Plastic Soldier Company, but it's a bit like their T-55 kit. You have to carve bits of the hull back so it fits together.
Right.
Because as molded, doesn't actually fit.
Less than perfect.
Yes, Brush and Quill. I don't know whether you can see, but they've actually built into the model, top and bottom, where the magnets go, one for the flight stand and one for the rotors, which is quite handy for storage purposes. Right, so Harry, do you want to tell people a little bit about the journey that if you were a scale modeler, you got into wargaming? You want to talk about that for a moment, and I'll reach down and grab a hind.
Okay. I was a wargamer a long time ago. So I actually ran a games shop in Western Australia here for a while. But I've always been a scale modeler. And I got away from gaming for years and years and years. And got back into scale modeling about 10 years ago. And then at some point decided, well, I accidentally ended up with a 15mm kit from the plastic sorting company and built that and thought, oh yeah, I'll give Flames of War a go, back in 3rd edition. And yeah, kind of took off from there. And part of the thing is I have a YouTube channel because I don't have anybody to play with. My nearest opponent's about 300 kilometers away. So I can always make videos. Oh, that's lovely. I'm told the rotors on that are really fragile. Has that been your experience, Kaiser?
I have a 5-year-old boy who's already broken it once, but Johnny B's a dab hand with some glue and hot vapors to keep him going.
You say that, but it's still wonky and shonky.
Oh, the rotors are a bit whoa, but I like that moving. You know what I mean? It's what do you call it?
Doesn't the kit come? There are 3 rotors molded together, and then you glue 2 other ones on, or something.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. So the 2 that you glue on apparently fall off quite a bit.
Yeah, although to be fair, you're not going to see this on this crappy camera, I don't think, but there are little key points here.
Oh, there absolutely are, but I mean, wargaming models have to be transported in a bag over great distances and survive rolling dice on a table somewhere.
Yeah.
D6s can be quite lethal.
That's why it floats above the table 6 inches. It's off the table 6 inches. You got to really try and hit it at that point.
I've seen some people with very limited dice control.
Oh, Fatal Paper Cut says, "Ooh, I think he's seen you in your sexy hoodie, John." Really nice guy. Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean it's a nice model. As I'm just dry fitting this one though, this has been in a box for quite a while, and the hull seems to be a little bit buckled. So I might be spending most of this evening just holding this bit together. Nice chopper. Oh,
is that when we have to do a get to the chopper gag?
Any Arnie opportunities for Johnny B?
Sorry, I missed that. I'm ill. Get to the chopper.
Yeah. Well, bugger it, I'm here. Can you see you have to work or something, Ken? Depends on the glue you use to attach the rotors.
Yeah, the actual attachment point is a bit minimal.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. Right. So, Miller's Miniatures, good evening. Another wargaming channel. He does a lot of historicals. Pike and Shot, I think, is what he's been doing mostly at the moment. Hope I'm right about that. Yes, Taylor. Do you ever play Battlefront World War II from Fire and Fury, Harry?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't played that. Of course, after the stream, I'm going to look it up and see what it's like.
You have kind of mortgaged your soul to Battlefront now, haven't you, really?
There is a little bit of that, and given that they don't like me very much, that's a bit sad.
Why don't they like you?
They're very sensitive about people reviewing other things, I think. So, yeah, no, they don't love me very much.
Right.
I saw somebody asking how my Soviet army's going.
Yeah.
Here's some of it now. So,
yeah. At risk of boring people, give me some tips. Where are you at with that?
At least they're not British World War II, because you don't have to do the bloody knees as well.
Do the knees?
Yeah, I did 8th Army. So it's not just hands and faces, it's hands, faces, and Boy Scout knees.
Socks. I love the long sock. If a man has to go to battle, knee-length shorts and knee-length socks is the way to do it.
Good old British knobbly knee.
No,
edge highlighting knobbly knees can't be easy.
Kilts is the way to do it. That's my family heritage.
Harry, what country from can't put his finger on it? Is it German?
Ach du Liebe, nein.
Stalingrad for Johnny B.
That's only because I'm wearing this. I look like a sniper. There's a lot of comments about me looking like Kenobi.
I think I'd go babushka before I'd go sniper, man.
Babushka, yeah, true fact.
Good old combat onesie, that's the thing.
Combat onesie.
Definitely.
Right, Callum, take care. That's what it is. Johnny
Kenobi.
Mate, don't butter him up. You get all swollen in his head.
Does that make him Obi-John?
Obi-John. That sounds bad.
Obi-John Kenobi.
That's him.
Harry, so tell us about
Kenobi.
You said you've assembled it from kits that you've reviewed in the past. You had a bit of a look around and discovered you can actually make a fairly
Cut him off. Cut the feed.
Substantial Soviet force of late war heavy tanks out of these. So do you want to take us through the list? Is that something you're willing to do, or?
Please do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Competition?
I've been
People might be looking at it.
Progress videos up on my channel. So the second one I think was the list. So it's an IS2 Guards Heavy Tank Company list, or Heavy Tank Regiment, with HQ of an IS2. I've got a platoon of 3 IS2s. Then, interestingly, because they're actually more effective in the rules, I've got one company of 3 IS-85s with the 85mm gun, because they're actually better for anti-tank work than the IS-2. What else? I've got a SMG company that's organic to that. So that's the formation. And then in support, I've got 2 IL-2 Sturmovics. I've got a platoon of 76mm guns with a little BA-64 observation post, tiny, weeny little 4-wheel armored Jeepski type thing.
That they're going to retrofit that into mid-war, because
there
is a mid-war Soviet observer.
Nope. No, this is the first time I've ever seen Scout written on a card for the Soviets, and it was for 1944.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's pretty much. Oh no, I've got a rifle company as well, Hero Motor Rifle. That was actually useful because I had a different, just had a Hero rifle team, but after the video, somebody contacted me and said, "Why aren't you using these?" And they were pretty much the same points, a couple less stands that you get, but the stats were better. They were more effective. So thank you to whoever that was that suggested that on my channel.
And there's a grey box unit of T-34s as well, which could come in handy sometime.
I'm all out of points. That's 100 points all up.
Fair enough.
I really wanted to shoehorn in Su-76s instead of the ZIS-3 guns.
Yeah.
So Su-76s are mounted on the T-70 tank chassis, but just couldn't find the points anywhere.
It's just a T-70 with a ZIS-3 strap to it. It's not much more complicated than that.
A lot of people say they're their go-to for Soviet lists, though.
They are, yeah. I don't have 6 of them. That's totally not what I'm doing in my next list.
You totally don't, yeah?
I totally don't.
I see.
Love it. The guy.
I'm putting together because. Oh, sorry.
You're just talking about lists. Who cares?
Yeah.
List suck.
All the people in the chat.
No, they don't. Look, they're talking about other things. Gonna say,
list making can be fun. It's always fun to experiment with sticking stuff together.
Just don't let him talk, whatever happens. What are you trying to say, Johnny? Come on, use your words.
I was just gonna say, completely irrelevant, just to break up the conversation, is Kavini 414 is having a bad day. So I just want to say, chin up, lad.
You're right. Sorry to hear that.
Hang in there, you'll be fine. And also, because Ken was in there somewhere, they were talking, the boys on the plastic crack podcast thingy majiggy, which is on at 8, by the way, Kaiser, not 9, 8.
All right.
8 on a Monday. They said about some new sort of, was it battalion level game? I think it was a Fat Lardies one.
Ogru.
Anyone heard of that? What that?
Ogru.
Yeah, what's that? Anyone interested in that?
I'm looking at it, John. I'm looking at it.
Is it going to be so old school that it will take 5 hours to play? Kind of.
No, but it's a Lardy game, so it's got the complex command rules, and it's not going to work like. Sorry, Harry.
Charts and tables, perhaps.
I don't think so. No, more like target numbers and rolls. It certainly has an interesting mechanic around command initiative. It's more about the number of orders you can issue. So if you have a sort of battalion reserve of orders, which you can use to interrupt enemy activity and so on. It looks interesting, but the problem is as soon as you layer on complexity in rules, you massively draw out the length of the game. And for me, simplicity is beauty, and we roll dice to simulate things. That I am not criticizing that style of game, but I'm super cautious about. I look at Lardy games and think they're interesting, but they are going to take time to play.
I have heard good things about them. I haven't played any, but there are people who swear at, not swear at, what a tanker of games like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've never had a look, but lots of people quite like that.
Oh, for sure. Just depends what you like. And with limited time, you need a game that plays real quick.
And what about Battle Group? Harry, have you tried Battle Group?
I had a look at the Battle Group rules. I've never played a game of it. It's interestingly scalable. So, with Battlefront games, they're a particular size. They're usually company or regimental level. With Battle Group, you can do everything from a small skirmish all the way up to linking up several 10x8 tables and running massive great games of it. And all it does is adjust the points up and down based on what level you want to play at. The rules looked interesting. And, I'd love to give it a go one day, but again, my problem is I don't have anybody to play with, and I can't teach the cat to play. So,
if you were doing that, I'd watch that on YouTube.
Mate,
that's a hell of a set of videos right there.
Everybody would watch that on YouTube.
Yeah. Cat plays war games. That's got to be a thing. If that's not been done, it needs doing. Ken from Whereas Battlefront games, it's got the Team Yankee rulebook. How does it work? Start an army, Cold War, more modern. So it started in the kind of late 70s, early 80s, but it's now pushed the timeline forwards, and it's changed the name from Team Yankee World War III to World War III Team Yankee, just to kind of reflect that the time span has moved on. And one of the things
more specific than that. The novel is set in specifically 1985, because I remember reading the original Harold Coyle novel when it first came out.
So now what you will find is anybody who's got an existing Team Yankee army from before versus someone who's got a new Team Yankee army is that the numbers don't work. The 1970s and 80s tanks cannot fight the 1990s tanks that they've just released. They literally can't penetrate them at all. And the whole army, they're like a T-80 or a Challenger 2. They just cannot fight them. You probably can still do the kind of BMP horde thing. That probably still works.
Oh, T-55s. The closest guy I can game with has an East German T-55 horde army. And my Australians just go under. Because I've got like 9 Leopard 1s, and he can field 43 T-55s. And there's just not enough rounds in the world. There's not enough.
Not enough turns to kill them all.
Yeah,
but it's all group. Yeah, absolutely all group.
Not enough bullets to destroy the whole army. So that it's a Russian army you're playing against, right?
Basically. Yeah. But it's a Russian army with skills because it's East Germans.
That's not a Russian army. What? That's not right.
Doing it
wrong. But it's
wrong.
got the Russian equipment, but they've actually got stats like they don't run away all the time, and they can actually hit things they shoot at.
I need to get in contact with the people who wrote this game. It just ain't right.
Rommel by Sam Mustafa. Now that's the second time I've heard about that recently. Something I'm interested
Somebody's
in.
mentioning Conflict 47. I have never played that, but by God, the miniatures are beautiful.
I've been asking a couple of times, but there's no interest from anybody else.
Right.
What's that?
Tiny level commands.
Conflict 47. Is
that the sci-fi?
It's bolt action, but they advanced it to 47, and like there's werewolf German army with zombies and all
yeah,
that
they
stuff.
didn't just advance the timeline, did they? They put it into sci-fi.
Plasma weapons.
Nazi wizards and Tesla rays and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's not
You say stuff like that, like that's a derogatory term. Stuff like that is kind of what I'm looking for.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Is it based on the history of World War II, or?
It's existing vehicles that you can recognize, but so it's a Tiger II with a big plasma cannon instead of a 88mm gun, and there are walkers.
They've done some interesting stuff, like every force has like an elite infantry which has armor. So there's like some sort of space marine for every army, and then they've got like each force has advanced a certain piece of technology. So like the Russians use all lasers, and the English have, I don't know, kettles that they lob at people or something, I don't know. And then the Americans have got this, and the Germans have got this.
Thank you.
There you go.
I've seen a little bit. What was that one? Two cat lardies. That's
cat lardies. Going back to that, Harry's mate. You need to be that YouTube channel now. Cats do Wargaming. And me, hey there, beautiful people. Another guy. There's a few people in here. Ken from Miniature Wargaming Warriors. Boots on the Table with Dom, Frost and Fist. All of these people got them lined up to come on. It's like Harry here, where we're not really going to let them talk. We're just going to read the comments for an hour and then go home. So, yeah, you mentioned the IS-85. So there's a little bit of history there, isn't there? And there's a little bit of a topic in relation to gaming and wargaming versus history and historical uses of equipment. A good example for that in Flames of War from the mid-war period is the KV-1 versus the KV-1. Is it S?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Historically,
they stripped a lot of the armor out of the tank to make it. And
the KV-1 just couldn't go anywhere. It was too heavy.
Because it was just too heavy, and there was no room in the turret for the guys to work. And they did that historically. They didn't do it to save money; they did it to make it better. But what that does in game is it takes 2 front armor off the tank, so it just gets worse.
Yeah, well, it does mean that they're not overworked anymore. So
yes,
they do shoot a lot better.
Yeah,
but they only shoot
like the IS-85 in the game. Sorry, Kaiser.
I think they're still pretty bad, because there's the thing with the way armor and firepower works, as it probably should, is the closer you can get to the outside of the envelope, the more effective you are. Stuff that's in the middle is really inefficient from a kind of I paid points for a unit, isn't it? It's like this can be penetrated by medium and heavy anti-tank weapons, and yet I'm paying a premium for this. I'm paying points for this armor. Hence, you'll tend to find in competitive lists people have got scout vehicles with big guns, or they've got really heavy armored things with whatever gun comes with it. So the IS-85 is another example of, I believe it was originally built with the 85mm gun, but they quickly upgunned it.
Yeah, so the original tank, so the IS-85 is also known as the IS-1. So that was the original, we need to replace the KV, we need a heavy tank. So they built the chassis, stuck the new turret on it, but had the 85mm gun. Then looked up and went, oh, but we stuck the 85mm gun on the T-34 as well. Maybe we need something a bit heavier. But the IS-122, so the 122mm gun of the IS-2 has 2-part ammunition, so it's slow to load. So in the game, the IS-85...
ammunition?
Yeah, 2-part ammunition. So it's actually based on a naval gun, I believe, the 122.
Is that 5 inches? Is that a 5-inch gun?
Yeah.
Yeah, 5-inch.
On a tank. Yeah, that's the big gun.
On a tank.
Yeah, 5-inch gun.
They did actually start with a piece of naval ammunition and then decided to make a gun around it, not the other way around.
Was it that way?
I think it was that way, yeah.
But, yeah, so the 2-part ammunition, brings the rate of fire down. So IS-2s, when they fire on the move, get the slow firing rule. So you actually get a +1 to hit. Whereas
didn't they only have like 25 rounds in the tank as well?
If that,
it's like really limited.
Yeah. But it didn't really matter for the IS-2 because its main role was infantry support. So it was meant to trundle along with the infantry. Oh, there's a machine gun there. Oh, now there isn't, because you hit it with a 5-inch shell, and it just goes away. You know, it's great. So anti-tank work is only part of it, and the ammunition reflects that. They did have anti-tank rounds for it, but I mean, if you hit some armor with the size of HE shell they had, you would stun the crew, damage optics, do all sorts of things. So you wouldn't penetrate the armor, but it wasn't any fun at all, apparently.
Pure concussive power.
Well,
Big McNan skull in the house.
The same round was used in the ISU 122, so it was literally a bunker busting shell that was being fired directly at a tank.
Absolutely.
That's Harry's out, mate. He's done. He's like,
he's out.
He's out.
He's gone to start a new channel
about cats.
Yeah,
can't wait.
I've got to teach the cat how to play Flames of War. That's what happens when you don't put your Vegemite jar within easy reach to clean your brush.
That is so stereotypical.
Awesome video.
How have you got Vegemite, mate? There's a whole song about that.
I was actually going to perch a jar of Vegemite on the thing behind me just to have it in shot while we were.
Like an Easter egg.
Yeah. That would be the giveaway. Flames of Claw. I was going to say, I watched a thing the other day about it was the Canadians. I couldn't tell you, mate. I don't know, but they were attacking the Scheldt, an island in the Scheldt, the lowlands of Dufa.
In the estuary, yeah.
The Scheldt estuary, Antwerp.
Yeah, that one. And they had to go across. They had to go across a little causeway. I don't know what regiment it was. I'm guessing there was only one for the Canads. I don't know, but they were firing an 88 down the road with AP ammo, just like bouncing them like bowling balls, shredding up infantry and stuff.
Really?
It was ridiculous. Yeah, it was grim, mate.
Just so you know,
the trees are meant to be unpleasant too. So they used to fire them in forests, but they'd aim high and hit the trees with HE and rain down splinters on everybody. That was meant to be not much fun at all.
But the old Canads, they didn't care. They just kept going up, and the primary focus of their mission was to keep the Germans occupied, whilst some British commandos come around the back of the island and hopped on to go mess them up.
There's a narrow causeway onto quite a bulging island.
Yeah.
But the British attack came in on, is it buffaloes? The amphibious.
Yeah, I was just about to mention the buffaloes, the amphibious American tractors. So they had a lot of trouble getting through the very wet areas in the Scheldt, and apparently a lot of the fields were flooded, so the Germans would be able to defend dikes and corners of dikes over flooded fields. And then, of course, you're attacking high rate of fire machine guns while slogging through mud.
It was
open field, nothing to hide behind. Literally, the definition of not much fun.
It was quite an interesting watch to see the brave Canads. They just kept going. They just kept going.
Franz Halder gets a lot of stick these days. He probably deserves it, but I'm not sure he just totally made it up.
Flames of Claw for the cat.
Flames of
Claw.
I'm in.
Flames of Claw. This stuff writes itself.
If you need any help with that, I'm so.
You don't even have a cat, James.
No, I'll do editing. I'll do whatever it needs to get this thing working.
My cat is an idiot. I love him and he's fluffy and beautiful to look at, but not much in the old brains department is much.
I challenge your cat to a game.
My cat is challenged, yes.
Flames of War. I need me a win.
I might coach him.
John, you could still lose, man.
I know, but don't break my dreams, man.
I'll tell you what, Johnny, one day you and I will have a match because it'll be the race to the bottom. Because while I have a channel and I can talk authoritatively about stuff, I am famous for rolling 1s and 2s.
Mate, I don't know if that's a good idea. We might sort of open up some cosmic anomaly.
We might. There might be a tear in reality. All of probability.
That'll be a 6-hour game. It won't be worth it.
Fundamental thing. We've got 20 pounds on the cat, so they're already taking bets against you, John.
The cat's got better odds. So this tournament then, Harry, how are you going to play this army? Because Flames of War is a game where you roll dice until somebody wins, right? But more specifically, I'm just trying to squeeze this window in here.
I'm a very defensive player. So that has served me well playing my British because they dig in on an objective and you have to come and dig them out with a spoon. And that works well. But I actually think the Russian army I'm going to have to play against my nature and I'm going to have to be quite aggressive with them. So, for example, the SMG guys only have a 4-inch range.
Yeah.
So I need to stick them behind some KV-8 flamethrowers I have in my list as well. So
you do. I like that. Yeah.
I'll move the KV-8 flamethrowers up and toast some infantry with the SMG guys behind them, and they will then charge in and clear the trenches.
Can you hide all of those SMG bases behind 3 KVs? Or are you going to cheese them? You're going to have them up sideways, up the board, tournament style.
Flamethrower tanks are a psychological move because as soon as you plonk down a Wasp carrier, if you're British, or a Churchill Crocodile, or a KV-8 flamethrower, or whatever, everything shoots at it. Every gun, every tank, every Panzerfaust, everything starts flying at that, and everything else gets a bit of a free run. So that's what I'm hoping will work. But yeah, I plan to be much more aggressive than my usual play style. So I'll kick open the doors and run screaming, and hopefully that will frighten the heck out of people.
I've gotten a little bit of flack on the channel a couple of times for playing really aggressively with the Russians. That is because I just like taking armies and then running at the enemy and seeing if it works. But I do have a greater than 50% win rate at the moment, just. So I mean, I don't know. It feels fine to me.
Russians, hoorah, that's the whole thing. You shout hoorah, you run as fast as you can into the machine guns, and there are just so many of you that the survivors win.
The survivors win.
Survivors win,
yeah.
So somebody was asking if Fog of War has a Discord server, and no, I don't, because
that's going to be
I haven't played with Discord much.
That is Kavini 414. He's trying to sell his services. This is not the first time he's mentioned that.
Trying to hustle Discord servers,
Watching.
Beckers is here. G'day, mate. How you doing?
As fellow Australians. He's lives next door to you or something, doesn't he, Harry?
Beg your pardon?
He lives next door to you, doesn't he? And you re-account
yeah, it's about 300 Ks.
Mate, next door, isn't it?
But I mean, I use Discord for D&D. Since we've been in lockdown,
that's really good.
We've done D&D on Roll20 and Discord, which has been a lot of fun. But yeah, I haven't used it for my channel.
The Dice Maiden on Discord's really handy. It does a hell of a lot of work for you in D&D.
Yeah, and Roll20 is pretty nifty too. Rolls all your dice for you. You can initiate 3D dice, and it actually rolls digital 3D dice.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Can you digitally flip the table?
You can in Tabletop Simulator.
As a DM, you can fudge rolls. So if you're clever enough with the programming, you can actually fudge your rolls.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Stuff turns up. Yeah, my players don't know, but they're about to come up against some gamblers who can fudge their rolls in a Japanese-style tavern. So there's going to be a lot of them losing games a lot. Hopefully they'll catch on at some point.
I guess you could just leave the camera on and flip the laptop. It's a similar effect.
You've killed the Kaiser. He's dead now.
I've never seen a table flip. I've seen the odd dummy spit, but I've never seen a table flip.
No, I haven't either, to be honest. Well, it'd be cool.
I have seen me on my knees looking down at so many ones on D6s that it's not funny.
You're losing the game pretty bad if you're down on your knees, Harry.
Yeah.
My missus has just been, look, just put me a little note on it.
Oh. Sounded like you needed a cuppa. Is that the hacking cough?
Yeah. What's that? For those of you in the know, by the way, this is MfA. MfA is a cute little bunny in the children's program. My son wanted the post-it notes.
Where's mine? Mrs., are you still watching?
She's not watching this crap, mate. I mean, she's not enjoying the show. She's looking after the channel.
I could do with a drink, Mrs. I'm ill.
I can upload you one from Australia. Hang on, I'll download one.
I know. We'll send you some Bovril or something. It'll be weird.
Ugh.
Oh, we drink a spoon of Vegemite in hot water. That's what we have.
I heard you get a Vegemite sandwich, mate. That's what it says in the song.
Yeah.
Vegemite sandwiches are great. I went through school on Vegemite sandwiches.
Made you the man you are today, sir.
Absolutely. No, Vegemite is an acquired taste, and many people haven't quite acquired it.
And even Anne's betting against me with a cat.
That's my missus. It seems like she is watching after all. The first edition. What, red box or the first edition AD&D? Interested to know there. Ken, need to get into D&D. Enough time my French ain't going to paint themselves. You made loads of progress on those French, mate. We just have an army in 6 months or something, haven't you? Whoops, where was we? Digital table flip for the win. Well, I suppose digital table flip gives you the benefits of it without the consequences, doesn't it?
Unless in Tabletop Simulator VR, you have to just go and pick everything back up off the floor.
I guess it sounds like I'm missing a trick. For me, it's a time thing. It's not that I don't want to hang out and chat to people. So like me, any hobby time that I have in relation to this, the job, the child, all the other things I've got to do in life, I just don't have the time for it really to just sit and chat to people. It's not that I don't want to. Had figures thrown and dice thrown at me by bad losers. Mate, dice been thrown at you?
I've had dice thrown at me in a game before.
What game were you playing? This is important.
Okay.
Exactly. And the other fella, what game were they playing?
Battlefield Gothic. I think there might have been some confusion.
Vegemite toast.
So this absolutely the time for Vegemite toast here.
This isn't just a stereotype then. The Australians do actually eat a lot of Vegemite.
Do you want to see my half-eaten jar of Vegemite?
No, I'll take
right here.
I want to know what is growing in there and going to crawl out and bite you, along with the spiders. Vegemite sandwiches for lunch, mate. We got all the Antipodeans. Molt action. Oh, mate.
Oh, dear.
You speak my language. There we go.
AD&D. I first played AD&D back in 1983. That was my first introduction to the game.
I wasn't even sperm.
I was playing Glint in My Father's Eye back in 1983.
I am ancient, remember?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Marmite. Oh.
Oh, no. No,
come
can't
on.
do the Marmite.
Make me swallow a dice? That sounds like an abuse.
Kavini, mate. Yeah, the more I see you on the channel, the more I'm getting worried for you. Not looking good, mate. If you need any help, we can
type an F in chat if you need me to call the police.
Yeah, we can. Yeah. 10k a share. What? I don't even know what's going on. That's awesome.
GameStop shares.
Nearly threw me off the chair. Well, there we go. We might buy a game tonight. 10k a share.
Yeah, it's GameStop. Sure. It's the shares in the States that are being pushed up artificially.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, mate.
So I've got a thank you to put out to Modelling for Advantage, by the way.
All right. Yeah, they're great guys, mate. They're cracking live stream, apparently.
They are, yeah, apparently. But they also send me things to review, which has been very good over the past few months, which has I must say it's been much appreciated getting little packages in the mail. And my problem, given I don't get any support from Battlefront, is I have to buy everything that I review. So because I can't randomly buy everything, I sometimes get requests from people of, can you review this or can you review that? And it's very hard to do that if it's not something I'm going to buy and actually use. Occasionally I buy stuff just for review, like, you know, M2 Bradleys for Team Yankee and stuff like that. But yeah, so you guys have been very, very good for my channel to send that stuff. So I wanted to do a shout out and thank you very much for that.
And it's no real bother for us. We tend to review the big starter boxes. Is what we do. We go for the more substantial video. It's kind of, if it's not clear to you, we're not very good at most of the games we play, but we do like to play a lot of games. So we're more in the, like, we got the starter box and we played it and we developed the game, and we're not claiming that we're any good at it. We're just like, you know, popping us on the journey. So we buy a lot of starter boxes and they're often quite big. So sending, you know, one copy of each new vehicle, like in a Battlefront set, is really no bother, because we quite possibly never use most of that starter set anyway. And a chunk of it goes, a lot of it ends up on eBay, because once we've opened it, we can't resell it. You know, it was like send Harry one and put the others on eBay. It's
very much appreciated.
Yeah. No, it's that's why we do that. We are on the 10 minutes remaining mark.
Oof. Oh, it's all Kaiser. Jeez.
Nice close up. He's trying to mute it, and he did a close.
That was me. That was me failing to mute. So, Harry, do you want to take these guys in the last few minutes when I've been waiting for all? If I make Harry all big look, and then hopefully I can do that. Where's Harry? And you show what you've got.
He's got a table.
Some IS-2s. Or IS-85.
And some KV-8 flamethrowers. So I've just switched to my second camera, just to put some of the tanks out for people to have a look at. I don't think it's focusing very well, unfortunately. But I've been using Vallejo spray on those.
Okay.
No, that's definitely not going to focus, so it might come back to me.
We can see it, don't worry.
There we go. So, yeah, that was... Oh, God, I am big.
Way!
So what was it you wanted me to talk about, Kaiser?
Everything.
Everything?
And just show them what progress you've made on you, like you were just doing, saying these are my IS-85s, this is how far I've got. That's why I put you on the big camera.
Okay. So KV-8 flamethrower tanks, so that's the standard Battlefront KV plastic kit. You can build it either as a KV-1, the KV-1S, the cut-down slim version, or you can make them as the flamethrower version like this one. So I've got 3 of those, and they are now all painted green with some nice Vallejo hobby spray. That's Russian green 4BO. We were discussing that earlier. So that's the tank color I've switched to since the Flames of War paints went away. IS-2s. Again, these are Battlefront plastic IS-2s. And again, I've got 4 of those from the Battlefront boxing. And I've got 3 of them as IS-85s, and they are actually Plastic Soldier Company, from a Plastic Soldier Company I boxed many ages ago. And that's, so this is my painting paddles. I tend to blue tack things onto a painting panel, and then paint them.
John Z is perked up when you said paddles there. Like, what? I'm in.
And there's a tiny weeny, there's my artillery observer, the BA-64 armoured car.
Do you prefer the Plastic Soldier Company ISs, or do you prefer the Battlefront ones?
Beg your pardon?
Do you prefer the Plastic Soldier Company ISs, or do you prefer the Battlefront ones?
I like them both. The Battlefront ones are slightly bigger and chunkier. The Plastic Soldier Company ones are a little bit smaller and a little bit more delicate, but they're both really good kits. And the usual rule I mentioned about Plastic Soldier Company, that great kits with a single floor, the IS-2 is pretty good. I couldn't tell you what the the floor was in that one. So they're quite a good kit. People have actually asked me that a couple of times on the videos I've been doing, talking about building my force, whether I prefer the Plastic Soldier Company or Battlefront. Battlefront are probably slightly simpler kits, slightly easier to put together, but the Plastic Soldier Company kits are just as nice. And once they're painted up and you put them together on the table, there's very little to choose between them.
Great, thank you.
Awesome.
You're not shamelessly plugging yourself, Harry, but you do often review the kits alongside one another, don't you? If you have both kits, and you will say...
Actually, I tend not to do that because Battlefront freak out about that. Unfortunately, they really don't like it. The only times I've done... I used to run a series called Head to Head, where I would actually say, there's this one from this manufacturer, here's what it's like against something else. And that was when they decided not to love me very much anymore.
Right.
Battlefront are a little bit sensitive about that, which is a bit of a shame.
Yes. I mean, to be fair, it's not like Battlefront have ever sent us anything either. You know, we do... we buy all the stuff we get from Battlefront, whereas Warlord have been much more forthcoming, expressed an interest in playing their games, and they seem quite willing to send you stuff.
Yeah. Battlefront are quite friendly, but they are very selective about who they support.
Yeah.
That's paddling.
Oh no, now we've got some Battlefront bashing coming in the comments. They are nice guys and I enjoy their games, and every time I've spoken to them, they've been very nice. But yeah, so I wouldn't want to make anything out of that. That's not a big issue. It's just there are so many channels and they have to choose who they support.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty good at putting people up on their community page. They featured some of our videos, like our last Soviet battle report is on there at the moment, where your Sturmoviks razz up the top armor of my Tigers. And we later discover that in Flames of War, you don't get to shoot the top armor with cannon.
You bomb the top armor. You don't shoot the top armor, you bomb the top armor.
Yeah, and having seen how bad those Soviets were at acquiring a target and how those rules work, you were never going to hit me with a bomb.
Oh, no, no way.
You have to do the spotting thing. Like, okay, well, they just fly on and fly off again then, aren't they? I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm pretty sure Sturmoviks were, like, notorious for razzing up German vehicles. That's what they do. Not bombing them, cannoning them.
Yep.
Pop, 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 pop.
Yeah. In fact, they circle round and attack one after the other in a straight line. That's what they do. But you know, I don't know what the numbers are. When I saw some numbers in what's it called? The German chap Bernard, his military history visualized. He was doing some stats on British rocket attacks on German tanks. It was like something like 1 in 100 were within 50 yards of the tank.
That's good shooting, Tex.
Yeah, mate.
The USAF sent a team to Normandy, and they analysed all the airstrikes, and most of the times a bomb had flipped something over or done something that hadn't actually impacted. Yeah.
But when they drilled down into what actually happened is when a tank was under rocket attack, the dudes got out of the tank and hid in a ditch, and sometimes never went back. Because they knew if the tank got hit by one of those rockets, it was boomo, everybody burned to death.
Yeah.
You know, so did it have its effect, is what I'm saying. Is even though it was never going to hit, it actually was still very effective. A couple of minutes to go. John, what have you achieved today other than the sucking on that brush for an hour, mate?
I've used a majority of the decals to add some allied stars to your tank, sir. All I need to do now is work out what I'm doing with this Spotter Sherman. Need some I don't know, some identification for it, because this is a spotter tank. The rest of the cool, I'm going to show you some cool ones quickly. There's a Jeep we did ages ago, that's awesome, and I made a Cromwell earlier. Next.
Next, Mr. James Workshop.
Hello. I finished basing my 2 German snipers, which means that my 500-point force for the Germans is finished now, nearly. I've just got to finish off the Panzer IV, which won't take very long at all. And I got about 90% of the way through finishing my Su-76s.
That's coming out quite nice.
It's just some quite simple paint jobs, and the transfers really pick it up to give it some detail. I've just done it as quick as possible, really.
Cool.
And
I just want to say, Ken, yes, I'll let you know.
So yeah, I've achieved painting a ton of infantry while we've been talking. So well on my way to getting those guys finished for the 27th.
Wow.
Excellent.
And what are you feeling is going into this tournament, Harry? Are you gonna shame yourself, or are you gonna, mid table satisfactory, or are we talking like crash and burn here?
I shall lose victoriously.
Lose victoriously.
Good answer.
The motherland and all that. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Just grab the last of the comments. We are hoping to have Martin from Seventh Son here next week. He's a good friend of Miller's Minute in here, and obviously part of the Plastic Crack podcast on a Monday night, which is at 8 o'clock, right? 8 o'clock, not 9 o'clock
on a Monday.
Great
So
series, guys.
he's so handsome.
Young Martin, ruggedly handsome, sir, deeply knowledgeable when it comes to the Wars of the Roses and indeed some Renaissance stuff. Handsome men in fancy shirts, mate. That's how you go to war, I reckon. Except, of course, if you're in the British Army, in which case it's knees out, sir. Knees facing the enemy. We will be here. Oh, I should go back to the thing. We will be here then for your viewing pleasure in 1 week.
Thank you for having me.
We will be showing a video on Friday, which might be one of James' painting videos, given what's said. A review of one of those Russian tanks, I think, given that Harry's referenced it. So got a few bits in the tank that we recorded from before the lockdown, but not much. On Saturday night, we're going to play some sort of video game again. We played Steel Division. If you're a fan of the show, have a watch of it, because it was a game we thought you'd be interested in, but I think the video quality that was produced from the live stream was just too poor to be watchable. So we're of a view that we're not going to do that again, which is a real shame. But if you watch it and you like it, please do let us know. We feel it's not really watchable because of the video.
No, I totally agree.
But if you disagree, it's for you, not for us. We can play it among ourselves anyway. Let us know. So we're not sure what yet we'll do Saturday night, but we're going to showcase a few games that we like. I think it's just to kind of hang out and watch us play a video game and John talk nonsense. Right. So that's I got exactly this far. Awesome. Right.
Awesome.
Any final thoughts, Mr. John?
I got that. It was my birthday Friday, and I've got that warehouse clearance box through from Warlord Games.
Oh!
So I'm intending to do a little video on me just, getting random stuff out of the box, which will be fun. Or not, who cares?
James?
Yeah, you'll be seeing a couple of videos from me sometime soon. I'm hoping to start putting together my this is how I'm building my Soviets for bolt action videos at some point in the very near future. So yeah, you'll see how I planned that out and what I'm going to be using in the near future.
I'll look forward to seeing that.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
I'd just like to say thank you very much for having me on the show, and it's been an absolute delight to get up at god-awful times in the morning to come and join everybody.
Harry,
thank you, Harry.
Again in the future, right? We'll
I take it you didn't just hear the garbage truck come past and empty my rubbish.
We really appreciate you coming on, Harry, and we'd like to have you on again in the future, of course. So you kind of an affiliate member of Modelling for Advantage, a bit like Callum, really involved with stuff. And for a lot of your viewers, of course, will have not seen your beautiful head before. As my parting gift, the first time I talked to Harry about doing some video work with us, he said, I don't normally appear on camera because my face looks a bit like a low-rent sex dolly. I like that.
It's medium rent. It's medium rent.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.